Today's lesson is measuring angles. All right, so let's just start out with when we're talking about angles, we have two different symbols that we can use. I can either use the symbol this or the symbol like this. They both mean angle. Okay, so let's start out with naming some angles. A lighthouse keeper measures the angles formed by the lighthouse at point M and 3 boats. Name the 3 angles shown in the diagram. Okay, so let's look at the first angle. The first angle would be here. So naming an angle, the vertex is the middle letter, and I have my 2 ends, so I can say angle JMK, or the first and the third letter can be in the other direction, or angle KMJ. Doesn't matter where the J and the K are, but M as the vertex needs to be in the middle. Okay, another angle in this picture is going to be this angle here. So this is angle KML. Or again, I can have K and L in opposite locations. So this can be angle LMK. And the third angle is the whole angle here. So this is angle JML or angle LMJ. So what's really key is M is the middle letter, which is the vertex. All right, let's write 3 different names for each angle. Let's start out with, I can call this angle Q, or I can call this angle PQR, or I can call it angle RQP. All right, let's try B. I can call this angle Y by the vertex. I can call it angle 1, the number by the vertex. Or I could call it angle XYZ. Or I could call it angle ZYX. Okay, but it's really imperative that the vertex is the middle letter. How about C? Let's name this one 3 different ways. So I could call this angle E, angle 2, or angle DEF, or angle FET. Okay, so again, my vertex is E, and I need to have that as the middle letter. Okay, let's find the measure of each angle, then classify each angle. So here's our protractor, and our protractor has 2 sets of numbers. So I have numbers that go from 0 to 180 on the outside that go clockwise from 0 to 180 degrees, and another set of numbers that go from 0 to 180 degrees counterclockwise. So these go this way. So this is 0 degrees, and here's 180. And you can use either one, but you just have to use the same inside or same outside numbers for both values. Just to make it a little bit easier, I'm just going to use the outside numbers. Okay, so angle GHK, find the measure of it, and then we're going to classify it. So I'm going to take each of these sides and mark where this is. So this is between 30 and 40. So I know this is at 35 degrees. This one is between 80 and 100, and I see it's at 90 degrees. This one's between 120 and 130. So 125 degrees. And here is at 180. So to find the measure, just like for finding the distance of a segment, I subtract. I'm going to do the same process for an angle. I'm going to subtract, and so it doesn't matter the order, and then I'm going to take the positive. So I am going to subtract. So angle GHK. So GHK has at the side with G is at 0 and JHK is at 125. So I'm going to take the difference and the positive. So the absolute value of a negative 125 is plus 125 degrees. So classifying this, I am greater than 90, but less than 180. So that's an obtuse angle. All right, let's find the measure of angle JHL. So JHL. So at J is 180. 180. And at L is 90. So 180 minus 90, taking the positive, that's positive 90 degrees. And we are talking about an angle, so I always put the symbol degrees. So when I'm exactly equal to 90, that's classified as a right angle. All right, angle LHK. So angle LHK. So I'm going to subtract where L is, which is 90 minus 125. And I'm going to take the positive, so that's positive 35 degrees. Since I'm between 0 and 90, that's classified as an acute angle. Okay, let's look at some congruent angles. Identify the congruent angles labeled in the quilt. Anytime I have equal number of arc marks, that means that angles are congruent. So here's some arc marks. Just like we have tick marks for segments, I have arc marks for angles. So identify the congruent angles. So I'm going to say angle GFE. GFE is congruent to angle CDA. CDA. If the measure of angle ADC is 140 degrees, what is the the measure of EFG? So when it has this little M here, I say measure of. So if these angles are congruent, that means the measure of angle EFG is 140 degrees also. Okay, so let's do a couple more examples. Okay, find the angle measure using the angle addition postulate. So that is where I add my two angles and they can equal the whole. All right, so given that the measure of angle LKN, so LKN, so LKN is the whole thing. So this is 145 degrees. Find the measure of angle LKM. LKM, so I want to know what this angle is. And the measure of angle MKN, and this angle. So in order to find those two other measures, I need to know what the variable x is. So I need to write an equation so I can add my two angles and they equal the total. So I'm going to write my equation and I'm going to say 2x plus 10 plus 4x minus 3. So adding my two angles and they equal the total, which is 145. So now I'm going to combine my like terms. 2x and 4x is 6x. Plus 10 and minus 3 is plus 7. Equals 145. Subtract 7 from both sides. And I get 6x equals 138. Divide both sides by 6. And I get x equals 23. So now that I have what x is, then I'm going to substitute 23 in for x. So I have 2 times 23 plus 10 is 56. And 4 times 23 minus 3 is 89. And if I add 56 and 89, 56 and 89, I get 145, which is my total, so I know I verified my math. Okay, last example. Using a bisector, find the angle measures. QS bisects angle PQR. So bisects means I'm going to cut in half. So this is like the midpoint of an angle, which is like a midpoint of a segment. So angle PQR and the measure of angle PQS. So PQS is 24 degrees. So this is 24 degrees. Find the measure of angle PQR. So it's asking me to find PQR, which is the whole. So I want to know what the whole is. So since it says QS bisects the angle, if I know this angle is 24 degrees, then I know this angle SQR is 24 degrees. So I know the measure of angle PQS plus the measure of angle SQR equals the measure of angle PQR. So substituting in, I'm going to get 24 plus 24 equals angle PQR and 48 degrees is the measure of angle PQR. Okay, we got it.